Sports on Tap is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group with Dobie Real Estate, Jason Stiltner at Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment, Land & Sea Motorsports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, with loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they getting it in. Sports center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go when all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Welcome to this week's edition of Sports on Tap. I am Chris Scott, alongside Joe Waddell and Frank Giagata. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing all right now that I'm here.
Yeah.
Now that I'm here, I'm good.
Yeah, you were cutting a little close.
I was. I was cutting it very close.
Yes.
And I was very nervous.
Fair enough. You made it.
Yeah.
I had 3 days of nothing but football, so I'm great.
Yeah. That was a fun weekend of football and a crazy weekend of football if you really want to look at it, especially for week one, which again we've talked about, overreaction, to week one and overreaction Monday and all that nonsense. But overall, it was an exciting week of football. I was glad to have it back. I was glad to have fans back in the stands that actually made it feel more real, I guess, for lack of a better term. But it was just good to see. So I definitely enjoyed my weekend watching football, for pretty much all of it, which was which was nice.
And I just want to say again, I say this all the time, but the Red Zone channel has just it just adds so much to watching football.
I lasted
it really does.
10 minutes into the Lions game before I renewed Red Zone.
I love it.
I figured just because we spoke on that on Sunday that I would throw that out there, that I didn't even last a full quarter without it.
That's how I had it going. I had the shit show of the Bills-Steelers game on one TV, and then I had the Red Zone on the other TV.
Well, you saw my setup. I sent you a picture.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you yours.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the big screen on the Red Zone, and I had the smaller TV, which is not really that small, but small in comparison, on the Lions game, just because I wanted to watch that back alley abortion happen live.
Speaking of that, not a back alley abortion, but the Lions
football game?
Yeah, the Lions football game.
Speaking of bloody messes.
Hey, man, they were in it. Come on, guys.
Come on now.
They were in it.
Stop it. I mean,
I really want to talk about this so bad.
we're going to. This is happening.
I know. I couldn't wait to get in here today and talk about this.
So, watching the game, and it's funny, you follow along a Lions game on Twitter, and then you get Lions Twitter, and how quickly they change face is astonishing. In the first half,
in a 5-minute span, you had texted us that they were ready to hang off.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then all of a sudden, they were a playoff team.
Yeah,
and he was going to take them to the promised land.
Oh, this team showed fight. This team showed heart. Patricia would never have a team like this that would show heart like this.
Which I do agree with that statement
to a degree, yes. But it's amazing how just basically in a blink of an eye, a Lions fan or Lions Twitter just completely flipped. It's all right. First of all, you look at that game. If Kyle Shanahan doesn't do what I absolutely despise and start playing soft coverage and prevent a win defense, none of that shit happens.
I was going to say, they gave you everything.
None of that shit happened. You got a lucky break on your onside kick recovery. Stop it, Lion fan. You guys got blown out. Fact. You got blown out. Stop with this moral victory bullshit, man. This is why your franchise will always be nothing more than mediocre. Because you accept it.
Yes. I could not agree with you more, and we'll get to this other game later on, but I want to make a statement here as well. Cleveland Browns fans need to do the same shit. They need to buck up and stop saying it's a moral victory playing Kansas City and coming close to winning. We're not at the point with moral victories with some of these teams, okay? Moral victories are for losers.
Yep.
Period. You don't have a moral victory. It's either a victory or a loss.
I don't know. I'm thinking last night with that Raiders game that may be called a moral victory in my opinion.
But you won.
Like on
It was a
paper, they
real
did
win.
win, but
That's all that matters.
I'm taking nothing from that game.
That's
other
all that
than
matters.
a morale
Is it a
boost.
W on the score sheet?
I mean, it's gonna be.
It's a win.
It still is.
It's a
It's a win.
Yeah,
W
But-
in the win column.
Browns fans have done the same thing the Lions fans do, and they're like, well, a few years ago we went 0-16 and 1-15, so we've come a long way. And first of all, I have a problem with you saying weak because you're not on a fucking team. Second of all,
Oh, yeah. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I have a big problem with saying it was a moral victory. They're not at the point where you should never be at the point where moral victories are anything. But the Browns have moved past that, and they're actual legit nationally Super Bowl contenders. Get over it. You didn't win the game because there was issues in that game, and we'll get to that later. But with the Lions, going back to them, they might not be at the point where the Browns are, but still, moral victories are non-existent. It's just not a thing, man. You either win or you lose.
I was literally questioning at one point watching that game, and if you look back through my texts, I sent this to a buddy who was actually at the game. I asked if they had a defense on the field.
It was bad.
I wasn't completely sold on the fact that wasn't computer edited on my television screen because they couldn't have stopped anything.
It looked like playing Madden on like rookie mode.
An open garage door blocks more.
Yeah, it was bad, and Joe, I completely agree with you on this. Just stop with the moral victory nonsense. A win is a win, a loss is a loss, whatever. And then
with the Lions, sorry to reiterate your point is you're right, they were never. You can't even call it a moral victory because they were never in that game. San Francisco let them get back in that game. It wasn't like they forcefully put themselves back in the game. It wasn't like they just overcame adversity and like put their will onto San Francisco and created that comeback. Yeah. No. San Francisco gave you all that because they stopped playing almost. Like you said, it's prevent a win defense. I can't
stand it. And moving on, like we were talking about the Browns earlier, who are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Mm-hmm. Now, kind of the same thing to the Bills. Like that was an atrocity. What happened against the Steelers?
That was bad.
That was really bad. Josh Allen was horrible in that game. He was horrific in that game.
Yeah, he did play very poorly.
But again, looking at like Bill's Twitter, they're talking about like benching Josh Allen and this. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's one game. It's the first game of the season. Relax.
Joe, you literally, not to cut you off.
No.
You would just mention this. In the offseason, or not in the offseason, in last season, Aaron Rodgers got benched after playing. It was Tampa, correct?
Yeah.
It was Tampa. He got benched in the third quarter.
And he turned around and he did what he did.
Yep.
And he won the MVP. I'm just saying.
That is exactly how I'm looking at Josh Allen.
Relax. It's the first game. And honestly, I think what happened in this game, I think they started buying into their own hype. Mm-hmm. And they came out. Pittsburgh whooped their ass.
I think they underestimated Pittsburgh.
I think they 100%
I think
did.
Pittsburgh's defense looked a lot better than I was expecting them to.
It did. Pittsburgh's defense looked really good.
Well, they did last year for the first 11 games.
They did.
That's true.
They did.
That is very true.
But I think this was a case of they bought a bit too much into their own hype, and it bit them in the ass, and they got their asses kicked flat out.
But sometimes teams that end up going on and winning something at the end of the year need that game.
I agree with you.
And in both of you, like Joe, I know you've been hard on the Browns. I don't see that game the same way you see it. I don't see that you use the exact quote of the Browns went full Browns.
I did, but they did, and we'll get to that when we want to when we get into that game because I don't want to just talk about Browns.
Oh,
but
no,
when we get to that game, I have some choice comments on that one, and I'll let it be known.
And the way I looked at it was they lost a good game. The Bills,
they played like shit.
Yeah, there's no way to recover from that.
No, the entire game, I'm like, dude.
You have to take that game and you have to use it as a learning experience.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can't let that shit happen.
You can't let that shit happen. You got that drop? Hit it.
You can't let that shit happen.
There we go.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was that entire game. I'm just watching. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, anytime he dropped back to pass, I have no idea where this ball's going.
He looked like a guy who hadn't played in a year.
He looked like 2 years ago, Josh Allen.
Yep.
It was bad. And I'm like, dude, what's going on here? But hopefully they get it righted, and I think they will because I think that team's too good to not get it
You got
righted.
a long season ahead of you.
Exactly.
And
the
Joe,
longest season.
Joe, who's listening, we'll get to your Baker comment in a little bit when we talk about that game. It wasn't a good look, and there was a couple other things that weren't a good look in that game either. So.
Oh, really? I'm intrigued now. What happened?
He said Baker crying on the field, not such a great look for the Browns.
He was
Or
crying
for
on
Browns
the field?
fans. Well, after he threw that interception, he had his face down, and he was pounding the ground because he knew he fucked up. Like he was, I don't know whether he was literally crying or not.
Okay.
I didn't see actual tears from him on the field, but yeah, after he threw that interception, he landed face down,
Yeah.
and he was just face down in the grass,
Okay.
pounding the grass because he knew he fucked up.
Okay. Now, throughout just the entire NFL weekend,
Yeah.
what disappointed you the most and what surprised you the most?
Wow. Arizona surprised me the most.
Okay.
Arizona literally went out there and dominated Tennessee
I was going to say
on both sides of the wall.
Yeah, that was an ass kicking.
Now's the point where I have to eat my words. Chandler Jones surprised the hell out of me.
That dude had a game.
Yeah.
That dude
exactly what I had said on Sunday about
Yeah.
him is exactly what Aaron Rodgers did. And what I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to do is exactly what Chandler Jones did.
That dude balled out.
He didn't have a game. He had 3 games put into one.
Yeah.
Like
was
that's what kind of game it was.
It was somebody from Carolina's defense that was talking about the fact they had 6 sacks. And he was talking about it like it was the greatest game ever played. And anything else happens that day, 6 sacks is a great day.
Yeah.
But one dude just had 5.
Right.
Your team, great job. But one dude
One dude
had 5.
right.
One guy. All by himself.
To me, it was
And it's a guy who, quite frankly, if it's up to me on how athletes play when their contracts are being negotiated, that's what the fuck you do.
yeah.
Which is what we didn't think he was going to do. But
No,
Right.
hell no. No.
Well, I looked at A, his history, B, family history.
Right.
They don't tend to be mature adults
Right.
the way the Jones family handles things.
Well,
so,
he went out there and proved he's a man.
and yeah,
Yeah, he
he
did.
fucking proved my ass wrong.
He went out there and said, "Pay me."
Yeah, he said, "I'm a man."
It's like, give me that bag, baby.
And if Arizona doesn't this week,
Yeah. We'll see.
Pay that man his money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
like he's earned it at this point.
Mine was just the abomination in Jacksonville, but for the Green Bay Packers against the New Orleans Saints. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Talk about a thorough ass kicking.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers looked completely disinterested.
He looked like he was hungover.
He did. He looked like shit.
I mean, I'm not trying to fucking start a rumor or anything, but he looked hungover.
He looked like he did not. He wanted to be anywhere else but there.
He looked like he would rather. Well, I mean, look at the way he looks right now. He
I was
looks like
going to say he played like a guy with a man bun.
right.
That's exactly how he played.
And
That's true.
he played like a guy with a man bun who'd rather be on a beach.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking a doob.
Yep.
Hanging out with his hippie girlfriend.
Yep.
Which is pretty much his life other than playing football at this
Right.
point.
And I don't blame him. I'd rather be there too. But
I would too.
you're
but-
getting paid a fuck ton of money.
And the thing was that I want to necessarily say that game turned on that bullshit roughing the passer call
But-
after the interception.
Yeah.
But that was essentially the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that roughing the passer. Are you fucking kidding me? How are you supposed to hit these guys?
What I say in the group text. Might as well put 2 2s on them.
Oh my God.
With red or pink flags, and you just can't hit the quarterbacks. Like it's getting impossible to even sack the quarterback anymore because they call roughing the passer calls on literally every hit on the quarterback. It's insane. You can't land on top of the quarterback. Well, how are you supposed to? When you tackle a guy, you're going to land on top of him.
Right.
You can't in the middle of tackling a guy like divert.
over on him.
It's not the Matrix. You can't divert your body away from landing on top
Yeah.
of a guy when you're tackling him. Like what the
Especially
fuck?
when you're close to 400 pounds.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Like I could see that if that was like a little bit after he let go of the ball, but that was a bang bang.
It was-
play.
it was literally as
it
it
was
happened.
a perfect form tackle.
Yep.
And you're
I
gonna
agree.
call roughing the pass? Come on, what are we
It's
doing
the two
here?
things that I'm already prepared for this season to really work my nerves on: the roughing the passer calls
Oh, yeah.
and this taunting bullshit.
All this taunting that's gonna get old real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of these situations, I get it. But at the end of the day, when a dude makes a tackle and he stands up and he looks over a dude and talks shit to him, I'm sorry. He spent 30 years, give or take,
Right.
learning a game. And every time he's made that play, that's exactly what he's done. You're not going to get somebody to change overnight because you don't think it's sportsmanlike.
Well, not to mention, I have a big problem with, and this won't go as far as grind my gears because we'll get into that segment later. But for me, what stands out to me in that scenario is if they're gonna call taunting in that scenario, then call it in the scenario where Tyreek Hill catches a touchdown pass and runs away from everybody
And throws the peace sign.
throws the peace sign back
right.
at him, and then turns around at the goal line.
Oh, yeah.
Before crossing into the goal line, turns around to stare at everybody before he crosses the goal line. Be fair across the board.
I agree with
If
you.
you're going to call taunting on the defense when they stand over a guy that they just tackled,
That right there was the definition of taunting.
it's literally the definition of taunting. Like he throws the peace sign back, turns around before he even crosses
Right.
the goal line, and backs across the goal line.
Right.
That's taunting.
That is the definition of taunting. And frankly, honestly, I think this rule, if they were going to do it, have the players vote on it. You know?
If there's
Yeah.
one thing the NFL has proven, they don't give a fuck what their players
No, they don't. But I mean, I feel this is a rule that the players should have been able to vote on, because they're the ones that
I
are
agree with
actually
you.
Yeah.
doing this shit. So they should be
And
able to vote on it.
And I
bet
honestly
you-
think they would have voted to say, no, we don't care. We want Tom.
exactly. You're making the game more fun,
Right.
Like. I know
There's-
there's a certain segment of fans that don't like it. It's like, oh, that's just bad sportsmanship. I can't stand it. Dude, relax.
Yeah.
Calm down. They're having fun out there, man.
I have some very specific words for those fans. Shut the fuck up.
I think that's
Shut the fuck up.
I think that's very specific.
Like just
Yeah.
sit down, shut up, watch the game, and don't put your 2 cents in and say, "Oh, well, that's not fair. He's taunted he's taunted a player on my team." Shut the fuck up.
In my day, they didn't do
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In
cool,
your
man.
day, you couldn't watch the games because they didn't have TVs. Shut the fuck up.
All right, boomer.
Yeah.
I look at it quite simply and say, if you have a problem with them doing that to somebody on your team, tell your team to play better.
Simple. And that's what that kind of takes me back to Jimmy Johnson's Miami teams. Mm-hmm. Run it up. If you don't like it, stop us.
Right.
Simple as that. Like that's that. I love that philosophy. If you don't want us to score, you don't want us to taunt you, stop us.
I was talking with my brother right before I came in today, and we were talking about the Michigan game.
Yeah.
And he was discussing how Michigan just ran the ball nonstop.
Yeah.
Same idea in my head right there. You do what works
Right.
until it stops working. And if it doesn't stop working, keep fucking doing it.
The funny thing about that is Michigan Twitter was going apeshit because they didn't throw the ball. Why would you?
They had less than 40 yards passing.
why would
wasn't
you?
it?
Well, listen, the Sparty slapdicks
Oh,
on the
yeah,
local
yeah.
radio
Yeah.
stations here also have been all over that one. And to a certain extent, I understand part of the criticism is when you're looking at the Michigan team, you look at it and say, all right, well, you don't know whether you can trust that offense
And you
passing
don't.
game.
You don't.
And you're right, you don't. It's a question at this point because he's only thrown for 180 yards,
Right.
and the last game was 44 yards.
But if
when
you
it
have
co-
two backs go for 200 yards, who the fuck cares how much you can
but
throw the ball?
I do understand what they're saying though. Is when it comes down to when you actually have to throw the ball,
can you?
can he do it?
Right. And
So I get what he's saying.
And
I
we
get what
don't
he's
know
saying.
that yet. But when it comes down to it, you can't necessarily fault a team for doing what's working during a
No,
game.
right.
I mean, if you're running the ball down their throat and getting 8 yards a pop, why would you throw the ball? Like, it's just a question of why. At that point, what your game plan is working.
And
Done.
And like we just talked about earlier, like when teams go into prevent and win defense, why wouldn't you keep doing something that was working that got you to the point of that lead
Exactly.
you had? Michigan said, all
Exactly.
right, this is working for us. This is what's got us this lead. We're going to keep fucking doing it. Because what's the point in stopping? It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it doesn't say, you went 9-3 with 2 games where you only scored running touchdowns.
I know, right? And I like how you threw the 9-3 in there. Well done, Frank.
I didn't even get the reference I just made, so please explain to me what I did.
Oh, like a typical Michigan team going
Oh,
9-3.
yeah,
Yeah.
I threw out numbers.
Nice.
Because you're used to seeing those numbers next to Michigan.
Exactly. So yeah, kind
very
of, maybe it
average.
just resonates
But
with you.
in that situation,
Yeah.
and if we're at the point I'm defending this fucking team, like we're in trouble. But
Right?
at the end of the day, I don't care how we win. Just fucking win.
Exactly.
The game last night, we were talking about it earlier. It wasn't pretty.
It was not.
I'll take it as a moral victory.
That's some of
But
the-
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's a W. I
That's some of
don't
the-
give a fuck.
Toward the end of the game, that's some of
a
the
win.
dumbest football I've ever seen played. It was horrendous.
I'm ashamed to say that I actually dozed off.
Really?
No, you made a
did.
good decision.
Yeah.
I did. I listen. It had been a long weekend. I had done a lot of stuff, and I was laying there watching that game,
Yeah.
and I felt myself start nodding. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna finish this game. Finish this game.
No.
Next
No,
thing I know,
man.
I wake up. I think it was just the end of the game. They had just scored, and it was the end of the game.
Now, was it the first one they
I was
scored?
going to say, was it the end of the game or was it the end of the
Right.
game?
It was the end of the game.
Okay.
The very end of the game.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I was
when
going to say, because I was happy dancing my ass off at one point, and then all of a sudden it went from final to no longer final.
As soon as he like, crossed the goal line.
Oh, yeah, as soon as they showed the
I'm
replay,
like,
I knew it was
even
coming
before
back.
that, I'm like, nope, that's coming back. He was down. There was no way that was a touchdown.
But yeah, like I wait until the scoreboard says final.
Oh yeah.
But the scoreboard even said final.
Right.
And then it wasn't final anymore.
Yeah, it was.
And then we had a Chris Webber timeout.
oh, dude.
And like there was so much weird shit that took place at the end of that
yeah.
game. I text you guys like I didn't know you were sleeping at that point, Joe, but I was just like, what
is happening
What
here?
the fuck is this?
Like you had him take a delay of game penalty when you're trying to kick a field goal
Right.
to win the game, and somehow you get a delay of game penalty.
Because you called a timeout and you don't have any timeouts.
Exactly. I'm like, oh shit, this is, and then
They pulled a Chris Webber.
and then yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what you really yeah, and then.
And then
Immediate-
Carr just throws the ball up in
Right.
the air and somebody happens to be there to catch it.
Because Baltimore, in their infinite wisdom, said, "Here, let's bring the house."
Yeah.
Okay, that made
All
a whole
right.
hell of a lot of sense.
And for the first time in history, the Al Davis logic in drafting fucking worked. They just got a fast guy who could catch a ball for a second.
hey, at least he can catch the ball, unlike some of the other dipshits they've drafted.
yeah.
And they do got a beast in Darren Waller. That dude's a monster.
So
He really is.
yeah, Darren Waller is
That guy's a monster.
the shit. Yeah. And listen, I just want to say one thing. Props to a couple of those guys on that team, man, because
The stories they were telling
Oh
yesterday, dude.
yeah.
yeah. So Crosby and Waller, like if you wanna read up on some athletes who are very who I very much disagree on having athletes as your heroes.
Yes.
And
Athletes
as your,
are not
and-
role models.
and as your role models. But if you want to look up to a couple of athletes, check out those two guys' stories.
Yep.
Because those guys are really what it's about of changing your life around and being an actual role model. And just check out Darren Waller's story. Check out Crosby's story from Las Vegas. Those guys are model human beings at this point that you would want to look up to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I listened to both those stories yesterday, and I'm like, props.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Absolutely.
Yep.
See, with Crosby, I didn't even know what Crosby had going on last year. I just knew that he had kind of.
He had coined of.
Was that Frank's weird accent that we didn't know what the fuck it was?
That's my Australian accent.
He coined them.
we gotta come up with a name for that. We have to. Frankenese?
Frankenese.
It's what happens when my brain's working faster than my mouth is.
Hey, he coined of did this.
He coined of.
Coined of.
It's so fucked up I had forgotten what
And
I
now,
was even
and now
talking about.
and now he's lost.
I'm dying.
But it was a situation where Crosby had just fallen off last year, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on. I just knew that the rookie season he had
Yeah.
wasn't his sophomore year. And then to hear that story
Yeah.
last night, I'm like, okay, this is going to completely get me off of his back about playing like shit
Yeah.
last year because
He was going through some shit.
he was going through real life.
Yeah.
Well,
And as much money as you get paid to put that shit aside, there's some shit you can't put aside.
Real life doesn't take a break.
yeah.
Right.
Real life is always there.
Yep.
Right.
No matter how much money you make.
Yep.
And sometimes it makes real life even more difficult making more money. So
That's true.
That shit can weigh on you. You can end up getting a lot of friends, so-called friends, quote
Yeah,
unquote.
yeah.
A lot of family
Yep.
coming at you, trying to get money from you, trying to use you, take advantage of you. And that dude's real story is, again, man, it's just inspirational.
Yeah.
It really is. Him and Waller. Big props to both of them.
100%. That especially when once real life punches you in the face and to actually just punch back like they did.
Yep.
Awesome, man. I like to hear stories like that.
And the only other thing I got to say on that game, that fucking D-line looked deadly.
They do look amazing.
Yeah, they look good.
They look really good.
They did look good. And I know it was part of it was the crowd being in there and getting them hyped. But that's what I love seeing the crowds back in the stadiums, man. It was so just weird watching games without fans there. It was weird.
I
There
didn't
was
realize
no emotion.
None.
I didn't realize how weird it was until seeing it come back this year, and
Right.
I went, man, I've missed that.
And some of the games last year in the this year and a half whatever without fans, you wonder how many of those games would have had a different outcome had fans been there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
very
there's
much
so many games that would have had different outcomes.
And you got to watch majority of it, Joe. Chris, you watched pretty much the whole thing last night. Like, there were points I was watching Carr.
Yeah.
Carr would come up to the line, and it wasn't just a normal, like, quiet
Like,
down.
hey,
it was
shut
like,
the fuck
guys,
up.
come on, what the fuck is going, like,
Shut up.
why?
Right.
And it's like, no, in the back of your head, you kind of remember that
Yeah.
we've been 365 days plus without that.
Yeah.
Like, those people are losing their minds because they're just happy to be there.
But I do have a problem with that. Fans,
Except for the Lions fans who just
Be-
up and dipped
Well-
before your team came back.
yeah, but I also have a problem with fans not being smart enough to know when to cheer and when not to.
There's
Like,
a time and a place.
Your team is on offense, you shut the fuck up. When your team's on defense, that's when you get loud.
Remember
Like,
remember that Monday night game? We
Oh,
went to?
yeah.
Like the first Monday
Against-
night
yeah,
game,
against-
like
against Chicago?
Against Chicago.
Yeah.
How loud that
Still
fucking
the
how loud.
loudest stadium I've ever heard.
Oh my god, that night.
I got
Holy
I got
shit.
excited at that game just because of the crowd, and I wasn't even a Lions fan already at that point.
Yeah.
I was done with that franchise, but I got tickets to the game, or I forgot how we got tickets to the game,
I
but
don't-
we ended up going to the game, and it was an amazing atmosphere.
That place was shaking. It was that.
It
loud.
was insane.
Like the Bears had what, like 5 false starts in the first like quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah,
I was listening
It was
on the
deafening.
radio,
No.
and you couldn't hear the radio broadcasters over the fans.
Oh, it was crazy loud
Yeah.
in that place that night. Like that's one of the loudest stadiums I've ever been in. Like just atmospheres. Like oh boy.
hey, we got one person that says when Carr was waving his arms, he was imitating one of his throw passes flopping around.
Oh yeah, Andrew. Yeah, no, because there were some passes that Carr made where I went, nope, this guy still sucks.
Oh, you were bagging on him all night last
Oh,
night.
my God.
No, I was bagging on the O-line because that O-line was going to let him get killed at one point.
Yeah.
That fucking O-line wasn't blocking anybody.
That's fucking amazing.
And then when they would block somebody, all of a sudden Carr would throw 6 yards behind it, dude. I'm like, this team's not going to win anything if the O-line will block occasionally.
Right.
And the occasional time, Carr can't even hit the fucking receiver.
Yeah. Again, a win's a win.
yeah, so
Yeah, it didn't look like a win was going to be a win for
I
a
was-
while
Yeah,
of that game, though.
Yeah.
I was gonna call this person Rad Devil, but
It's Rad Evil.
Rad Evil.
Yes, Rad Evil. That is Andrew.
I thought it was Rodevil, but all right. But that's Andrew. All right. Thanks for the comment, Andrew. That was funny. I appreciate that.
Yes, it was. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get back to the Lions for just a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because-
by all means.
because watching that game and seeing social media the way it was, right? First they were bagging
Oh yeah.
on Goff, which we discussed.
so bad.
Just bagging completely on him. And then all of a sudden he became, see, we got a good deal in that trade. We traded away Matt Stafford, got 2 first-round picks, and Jared Goff almost brought us back in this game. And I'm just sitting there thinking,
Yeah,
Do
you
you-
watch Sunday night's game and tell me we got the better end of that deal.
do you? No, the 2 first-round picks are good. I'm not going to bag
I'm
on
not
that
saying
deal,
it's a bad deal,
Right.
but out of pure talent on the 2 quarterbacks,
If
Yeah.
you're just looking at the 2 quarterbacks, the Lions fans that try to say that Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Matt Stafford, I'm sorry, you're fucking insane. Stop watching football. Just stop. Just be done because you don't know football. Just stop watching. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor because I lose my mind when you fucking say that shit. It's insane to say that. But Jared Goff didn't lead them back. He took what the defense was giving him, and the defense was giving him an entire 15 yards in front of them to throw the football. It was a
played
bend but don't break
intelligent
defense that
football.
broke.
They're a shitty team. They just played smart football for
Right.
a little bit.
You gotta take.
They didn't even play smart. It was just they were being given yards.
And
Like it was
in my
not even,
opinion, if you take what you're given,
Right.
that's smart
It was,
football.
it was almost like a 7-on-7 drill. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's just like okay.
and I
But
so
even
I-
then, like it's comforting in a way as a Lions fan to see they're even smart enough to just take what they're given.
So lots of Lions fans will take this as this team isn't too far away. They can compete.
Oh, God,
which
yeah.
which I think is just an absurd fucking comment. But I'm gonna push it over to you, Frank, because you're the one Lions fan here on this fucking panel, right?
I've said it the entire offseason. I'm sticking with it right now. I don't see this team being any better than a 4-win team.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't think they're as bad as Jacksonville. from the way Jacksonville looked.
From the way they looked this weekend, yeah.
I'm also sticking with what I had said the entire offseason.
They're going to go winless?
They very well may. That team looks so bad. And again, you want to talk about social media and everything with football. Jack's social media? Oh. Urban's been on the hot seat since before kickoff.
I'm going to get to that in a minute, but there's a certain former radio producer in the city who thinks they're going to go 9-8.
Yes, there is. And, of course...
for Detroit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said they were going to go 9-8. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And, I mean, I always kind of thought he was a D-bag.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I always kind of thought he was a D-bag and didn't know what he was talking about anyway.
Oh,
and his voice annoyed me, but...
Yep. That guy.
Yep.
Yep.
No, he is a
anyway.
D-bag because I've worked with said D-bag. He is a D-bag, 100%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my thoughts were very much true.
1,000%. He is quite the douche. Yes.
Okay.
There are not many people in mainstream media that I look at and go, I couldn't care less about their opinion. He's one.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. 100%.
And it's no disrespect to the dude. I don't know him. You say he's a douchebag. I have no reason not to believe you, but I've just never met the dude, and I'm not going to go on record saying that. But at the end of the day, you are just... There's a lot of things I want to say about it.
Bruh.
You're delusional. You're fucking delusional.
You're a loser.
Yeah.
You know, I like
And,
that. Well done.
and actually, Andrew just jumped back in the comment section on Twitch. That is the one thing that I did want to give credit to the Lions on. That run game looked night and day from what it was.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not going to say it looked great,
No.
but it looked more than feasible.
I mean, granted, it wasn't a high bar to really start from, but yes, it did look good.
Yeah.
So he makes a comment that says the running back usage was great. Lions will win 4 to 5 games against bad run defenses. Controlling the clock will lead to those few wins and limiting mistakes. I guess what I want to ask is they're going to win a total of 4 or 5 games, or you think that running game alone will win them 4 to 5 games, which means they're going to win more than that. I just don't see it. They ran against a team that was kind of giving them that. I mean, towards the second half of that game, the Niners weren't just giving them passing yards; they were giving them all the yards.
Oh yeah,
they had just gone to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Now you can say that they didn't. To me, they did, and we'll see in these next coming games. But the running game, I think I commented in our group chat. Yeah, that running game looked better.
Yeah.
It looked better. We will see how it looks against teams that are actually trying in the second half.
Yeah. No, that's accurate.
Oh, he says 4 or 5 total wins.
That I agree with you on.
That I completely agree with you.
100%.
And I will tell you that I am really paying attention to Lions games this year because I have so many bets riding on this.
Yes, you do.
That I don't know why so many people wanted to bet me that the Lions were going to be good this year, but a lot of people fucking wanted to bet me the Lions were going to be good this year.
It's the Kool-Aid, baby.
Because and it's having a coach like Dan Campbell and what it does to naive people.
I want to run through a wall. Exactly.
Like, yeah.
He gives me diarrhea.
And you guys know, I bought into it at the very beginning.
Oh, you bought into a hook, line, and sinker,
These
baby.
press conferences, man, they had me hyped.
Oh yeah. While me and Joe sat back and go, this dude's a clown.
Right.
Yep.
But that's when you actually have to allow for all that. Hey, if you want to get psyched up about it, get psyched up about it. I'm not going to be the guy to tell you don't. But when kickoff happens, go in with an open mind. Because whatever bullshit the coach fed you is going to be totally irrelevant. Because for the next 60 minutes, it's about football. And if this team can't play, it doesn't matter how hyped up the coach is going to get.
But you're asking Lions fan to be rational and logical. Yeah. That's not something they're very good at.
You know what I think about this next game coming up for the Lions?
What's that?
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob.
That's exactly what I think this next game is going to be.
I don't know. If that team plays like they did in Jacksonville,
I still think they'll beat the fucking Lions.
I don't know.
So not only do I think the Packers will play better than they did in Jacksonville,
I think they have to.
I think they were good. I think they're going to come out. Not only will they play better, they're going to play significantly better. And even if they didn't, even if they played how they did in Jacksonville, they'd still fucking beat the Lions.
And they lost.
That's my opinion.
And they lost their quote unquote best cornerback. Which I mean, it sucks. It sucks for that guy.
Okay.
Listen, it sucks for him, and I feel bad for him.
Yes.
I do. As a person, I feel bad for him.
I'm not huge on hot takes or anything, but would anybody be surprised if he never plays a game in a Lions jersey again?
No.
No. I would not.
I just see this being a real easy situation where if they figure out the cornerback position,
Bye.
go into next season, you take whatever that you figured out.
Right.
He didn't do shit last year. He played god awful yesterday
Yeah, he
or
was
on
bad.
Sunday.
Yeah, he was bad.
So
Andrew has a hot take.
Oh, does he?
He says Aaron Rodgers 400 plus yards, Devontae Adams 200 plus yards.
Woo!
I just tried to text him too and tell him, instead of just blowing up the comment section, dude, we got a phone. Call us.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, we can put you on.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We didn't necessarily test it on this new
Oh, we
one, did
have not. That's right.
Oh, we haven't tested it.
No.
I should have asked
Yeah.
that before I told him to do that. But
Well, remember you asked that before we went on Sunday, and we
dude,
said no,
I
we
asked
didn't.
you at 9 o'clock in the morning when I hadn't seen 9 o'clock in the morning in fucking 2 years.
Frank does. He does make a good point.
It's a very solid point, Frank.
So you should definitely listen to our fantasy show on Sundays.
Yes.
And do the total opposite of whatever I tell you to do.
Well, and actually, Sports on Tap game day this week on Sunday. Well, it might be just me.
Yeah, it might be because I'll be going to the airport, flying back from Miami.
Well, the good news is we'll have Andrew probably in the comment section.
Yeah, so I can Andrew, you and I could talk to each other, and then we actually had some good interaction on Sunday, which is great.
Yeah. Andrew, you want to get on the mic and talk with Joe?
But actually, I think we might have Dan, our betting expert, in here on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's possible. So
when it comes to betting, Dan knows his shit
yep,
too.
We're working on that, and he's very good at fantasy as well. So his advice will be much will be a big thing for people coming in here. So hopefully he'll be in here. If not, it'll be just me.
You know who else
talking
is a big thing
fantasy
for people? That'd be the Joe Wright Group.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go with mine.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move and call and give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson of the Joe Wright Group a call today at 248-535-4750.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. I accidentally threw up the wrong logo there for a second. I had forgotten you guys swapped. I was so thinking you were going to do Stiller. Yeah. That's all right. I corrected it really quickly.
I was gonna say by the time I noticed it, it was the right one.
It was gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We're live. Fuck it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the whole thing our show is based premised on.
We're live.
We're live. Fuck it.
Could go great.
We'll
could
do it
go
live.
awful.
We'll do it live.
We never
Fuck
know.
it.
We never know.
Yeah. What do you guys want to get into next? I know at a certain point I do want to talk the Cleveland game.
I say let's hop into it.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, we broke
All right.
down
Yeah.
my teams.
All right. So I have a problem with. I already told you I have a problem with Browns fans.
Whoa.
Yeah. what's
Real
up?
quick, lady friend said Noonan can host with you.
Oh, there you go.
Sweet.
Nice.
Hey, you know what, lady friend? How about you host with me?
Ooh.
She actually talked about that yesterday. She's like, "How about I do it?" I'm like, "More power to you."
Hey, even if Dan comes in and hosts with me next week, you can sit in too because we have 3 mics and we have 3 seats.
I mean, but I won't have a ride back from the airport. That's cool.
We're not worried about you right now. Actually, you will. What time do you get in?
Actually, yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be off.
Yeah,
We'll-
you go for it, lady
we'll
friend.
be off the. I love how you're calling her lady friend.
Go for it, lady friend.
Yeah, we'd be off the air in plenty of time for her to come pick you
Yeah,
up.
do it. You're in.
If not, you wait.
Yeah, if not, you
That's just wait longer.
yeah.
This is not me stuck at the airport. What do I fucking care? Just wait longer.
Thanks, Frank.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Yeah, so I already talked about how my problem with Browns fans with this. There is no moral victories, especially when you're the caliber of a team that is expected out of the Browns this season. So the things that what did she say now?
Oh boy.
Oh, no, we won't. She said we'd lose all of our listeners. No, we wouldn't. We'd probably gain a few. So
I don't
have,
know.
Have more faith in yourself.
If she was on and Andrew came on, that put a good dent in him.
But
I don't hate this idea.
listen, it could be a really great idea,
I don't hate it.
or it could.
I
end
got to
up going
work,
really
so like I'm all for it.
I-
Hey,
Whatever makes the show better.
There's 2 other seats here, and I think Dan might be filling one of them.
yeah.
Lady friend, come in and sit down. Let's do this shit.
How bad could it be?
Yeah. Listen, it can't be any worse than me sitting here by myself, which is potentially what's going to happen.
And her advice couldn't be any worse than what I gave this weekend.
I think Frank makes same goes with me. So yeah, I think that's a very, very solid point.
Oh.
I mean, you talk a lot as it is, so you might as well just say it into a microphone.
Wow.
Just being honest.
I'm waiting for the door to
Oh
open.
yeah.
Just gonna. Anyway,
Joe,
so,
slide over here real quick.
So
She comes through with anything, you're getting blowback.
Remember the time I was working and I got hit with a shoe from a chick who came in and threw a shoe at our friend?
Yep.
I do have a funny story about that.
She was so pissed off and she came storming into the bar, where I'm working, by the way, behind the bar, and took her flip-flops off and threw them at him, and they literally whizzed past his head on both sides and hit me dead right in the chest. I don't know. She could have done that if she tried, but I'm like, what the fuck did you do? I just got hit with flip-flops.
I do have a story somewhat similar to that.
Yeah?
If you want to hear it now.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
all right.
let's do it.
So, at a bowling tournament years ago, we're at a gentleman's establishment, and the woman on stage, she was a heftier girl.
You have my full attention right now, by the way. Of course, how this is going to tie into that story, I have no idea, but I am all ears.
She was a heftier
Shooting
girl.
ping pong balls.
Yeah, not quite. But she was a heftier gal,
Okay.
and so one of my buddies I was with, he decides to throw like a 5 on the stage, and it's like one of those stages that you like sit at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like she comes up like damn near like right in front of my face and just starts doing her thing. I'm like, I look at him like, you motherfucker. So she gets up, she hops on the pole, swings around, her stiletto comes flying off her foot, whizzes right by my face, and smokes my buddy right in the neck with it. The one that threw the 5 on the stage. And I looked at him and I go,
That's what you.
I go, karma, motherfucker.
That's what you get.
Oh,
That's what you get.
it was awesome. It was so funny.
Andrew asked if her name was Gladys.
No, I think it was Cheyenne.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be an ongoing thing
Oh,
on the show, too.
100%. Yes.
Cheyenne. If there's a Cheyenne out there and she listens, I'm sorry.
we apologize.
We do, but we don't.
Sorry, Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Oh,
She smokes Newports too, by the way,
yep. It drives a G6.
and drives a silver G6. Wears Uggs everywhere.
Oh, God.
She sounds rather basic.
Has a foot tattoo.
And loves pumpkin spice lattes.
Yep.
There you go.
Has script tattooed on her
yeah.
ribs.
Live, laugh, love.
Also has it on her car.
Of course, yes.
Oh shit! All right.
It's a vanity plate.
I love how our fucking shows go off
It's
off the rails.
way off the rails.
Off the rails. I love it. I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about.
You were getting into the Browns.
You were about to crush Baker Mayfield.
Oh, no, I'm not actually. But what I will crush is
Crush?
crush. Crush? Did I say crush?
You did.
What I will crush.
He makes fun of me a couple weeks ago because I couldn't speak English. He's fumbled over his words every single week since then. You rip me for the way I talk.
And
now you're fucking up.
Hey, that's, you know what? Karma, bitch. That's
Common denominator, Frank.
yeah. You know what? You're right. Real piece of shit, Frank.
I guess that's my cue.
Real piece of shit.
You're a real piece of shit.
Real piece of shit.
So who I am gonna crush is coaching, and he did. Listen, he won Coach of the Year last year.
Deserved.
That doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely
Very well deserved. But it doesn't excuse him from being crushed when he needs to be crushed and having some criticism.
But that's not the definition of a true fan. You can't crush your team when they deserve to be.
No, you can. And you and I both, you and I both know you're being facetious on that because it's stupid.
Yeah, it is incredibly stupid.
To say you can't criticize your team. You can because you expect more from them.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, there was some fuck ups. And I know you can't coach Nick Chubb to hold on to the football when he fumbles it. But that's a bad play right there. You don't fumble that football, you might win that game.
Yep.
Your punter has one job. And the one time he comes in to punt the football during that game, he can't even catch the football in order to punt it. That's piss poor job of preparation right there. And that is what lost them the game. Not the Baker Mayfield interception at the end of the game. He's just scrambling around trying to make something happen.
Yep.
He's trying to throw the ball out of bounds and gets caught from behind and is falling down and it flutters out of his hand. I'm not going to bag him for that. He had a good game up until that point.
He did.
Like, I'm not going to, and I know a lot of people will bag him for that because they're haters of Baker Mayfield, and I get that. I'm fine with that.
I'm one of the biggest haters of all of Baker Mayfield.
I know you are, and you're not bagging for it, but a lot of people are. What I'm going to bag is the preparation and the lack of playing like a winning team. Winning teams don't make those mistakes when you're up in a game, especially against another winning team that you're probably going to face in the playoffs. You have to make those plays.
You can't let that shit happen.
You can't. You can't. The other thing I will say is I had a big problem with Harrison getting ejected and not the coach from Kansas City.
I 100% agree with you on this.
So if anybody didn't see it, what happened was there was an altercation on the sideline, and Harrison, one of the defensive backs from Cleveland, got kind of pushed into the other player that was already on the ground, and he stepped on him. And he did do it on purpose. Kind of making it like he got pushed into him and then stepped on him, and he embellished the stepping on him. He really stepped on him, which is bullshit. That's not good sportsmanship. Don't do that shit. But in the other scenario that happened, the coach came up and tried to push him off of the player. Bro, when you put hands on somebody, didn't you say this? Mm-hmm. What'd you say, Frank?
You gonna put hands on somebody? You can't get pissed when they put hands on you.
Done. Like, you ran in there and put your hands on a player, and that dude shoved you, and then you wanted to act like, what did I do? He needs to be ejected. Fuck you. You need to have some discipline too. Don't run in there, don't put your hands on the players. The only reason he pushed you is because you pushed him. So get your fucking hands off the players, you dumbass. And I'm so glad that J.C. Tretter is the president of the NFLPA, because he's a lineman for the Cleveland Browns, and he's pushing for disciplinary action against that coach.
He should. He absolutely
Because that's horseshit. You don't put your hands on a player.
Are the Kansas City Chiefs quickly becoming one of the most hated teams in the NFL?
Yes. And I'm a huge Mahomes fan.
I am too.
Have been since he entered the league.
I like Mahomes.
But, yes, they are. They're becoming the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, wow. I don't know if it's quite that level.
To me, that's where it's headed.
That's fair.
That's where it's headed.
But I see it trending in that type of direction, that they are becoming the most hated team in the NFL by fans. It's just...
Well, some of it is arrogance, too.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, 100%.
They've done it to themselves with people hating them. It's, Tyreek Hill with his fucking peace sign and then getting upset when somebody does it to him during the Super Bowl where you're getting your fucking ass handed to you.
Yeah.
And then continuing to do it the next season. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where you just... They've made people hate them. Yeah. They've done it to themselves.
Like we talked about earlier in the show, like I'm up for you guys having fun and taunting and all that shit. I'm fine with that. But when it happens to you, you can't bitch about it.
Right.
Stop. Like that makes people hate you. It makes you look like babies.
Andrew said they handed that game over like they were in Honolulu Blue. Andrew, you are correct. That is exactly what happened. They had that game and they handed it over.
That is hard to disagree with. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep. So, I mean, am I disappointed? No, I actually had them losing that game for the most part anyway. Huh. Well, I think their record will still rise to the top at the end of the season.
Yeah, I still think they're going to win that division. It's
it's
week one, man.
Right,
week one. And that's
relax.
Like when we started the show when I was talking about the Bills and Steelers game.
Yeah,
they played like shit. Josh Allen looked like fucking ass. But again, it's
one game.
It's week one.
Yep.
Chill, people.
Yeah, and it's for me, for the Browns, it's a game I kind of expected them to lose. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, and
at Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead, and it's one of those games where you're like, all right, I don't necessarily see them winning this. I see them being competitive, which they were.
Yep.
And would have won had they not made some mental errors.
Mm-hmm.
So they beat themselves pretty much. Am I okay with that? No. Am I okay with the fact that the team is good enough to beat the Chiefs? And if they didn't make those mistakes, they would have won? Yeah, I'm all right with that.
I mean, at least the refs didn't screw them. I mean, that's how the Lions lose all the time, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Because the refs screw them.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told anyway.
I've heard that myself. I've heard that. But I don't know if you boys have any thoughts on that game or not. I'd love to hear them if you do. I just wanted to get my thoughts out on it.
When we talked about the game previous to Sunday, it kind of played out how you said it would. It really did, except for the mental mistakes. Yeah. And just watching that game, I'm like, Cleveland's going to win this game. They looked to be the better team during that game.
For much of that game, they did.
And then came the mental errors, and as you just stated, that screwed them. It screwed them big time. And teams that have Super Bowl expectations, that can't happen. That it just can't. So, I again, as we just said, it's 1 week, but that type of stuff has to be corrected if you're going to make a run.
It's very much got to be. You got to nip that shit in the bud.
Yeah,
you got to get that shit figured out.
Yeah,
because if you're a championship caliber team, you have to mentally be in and prepared at all times.
Yep.
And there was just some lapse in mental preparedness,
especially against championship teams.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
if you are going to take a week off and Cleveland's playing Detroit, you can get away with a couple mistakes like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nope. You absolutely can't. So, I mean, again, I think everything's gonna be fine. So,
I agree.
Though your role's not collapsing, Joe. I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, listen. I'm not too upset about that game. As a fan of that team, I'm not too upset about that game. I was more upset on Sunday with the mental errors than I am now. After sleeping on it and being like, well, you know that shit happens. It's bad. You got to nip it in the bud. But they lost to a very good team.
You know what's not going to upset you?
What's that?
If you're looking to refinance or even consolidate debt, there's no better time to do so than right now. Give my guy Jason Stillner at Flagstar Bank a call at 248-752-3631. Rates are currently incredibly low, so do not miss out on this great opportunity. Mention this ad from Sports on Tap and get hooked up with $500 off. So give Stillner a call from Flagstar Bank. Phone number once again, 248-752-3631. Flagstar Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Nice segue. Well done, sir.
Very good segue.
I'm very proud of you.
Very good
Nicely
segue.
done.
Thanks. I'll give myself a little pat on the back since you can't reach it.
That was great.
Thank you.
There you go.
That was great.
Yeah, it was very good.
I was just listening where he's going. I was like, he's going to give me something.
This is how you do it.
He's going to give me something.
This is how you do it.
You tell me like I don't remember.
You listen.
I haven't been good at it in a while.
You listen for that in, and then
I ain't as good as I once was, but I was good once.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, what?
It's a Toby Keith song.
No, I know what it is,
He
but
doesn't.
I despise Toby Keith. So
Toby who?
exactly.
It's a country song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah. You're not missing anything.
Okay.
Using country lyrics to defend that I used to be good at this.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
You lost me with the country lyrics.
Sadly, I do know that lyric. I know exactly what you're talking about, but
So
Just hopefully we don't have to pay royalties on it.
right.
do we want to get into some more NFL, or do we want to go right to some college? Talk about some college games this last weekend.
Let's do our picks.
Want to do our picks?
Let's do our picks.
All right.
It's time!
Shit, the Buffer boys got some FaceTime this weekend.
They did.
Jesus.
Dude, I was loving that. That had me more hyped up for yesterday's game than anything else.
Oh, Stevie Aoki didn't have you hyped up for
I
that?
don't even know who Steve Aoki is.
He was the DJ.
Oh, okay. Well, I learned that one just now.
I saw his name on the bottom of the screen. I'm like, okay.
I saw Ice Cube was there.
Yeah.
And then obviously I saw the Buffers.
Right.
And
I think Ice Cube did the halftime show.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when you kick anything off with a buffer, you got my attention.
Fair enough. Well, since our picks are kicked off with a buffer, let's do this. First game we're going to do here is the Michigan State Spartans traveling down to Miami, Florida to take on
The game you're going to.
the game I am actually going to. I will be at, which will be nice in club level.
Very nice. You might want to put that.
I know,
Bell, might want to put that bell closer to where.
Yeah.
Well, you can fit up. You can fit the bell there. There's room for the bell.
I was gonna say when I put the bell over there, that wasn't like dictating the spot it had to be in. You could move
Right.
that.
But yes, so I'm looking forward to that game, win or lose. I just honestly I think it's going to be an awesome experience. So I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That being said, what say you guys? Who are you picking? What are we doing?
What's the spread? 6.5.
6 and Michigan or Miami's laying 6.5.
Oh man, this is tough. Is Michigan State a good team, or have they just played bad teams? And that's where I'm torn on it.
And I'd almost ask the exact same thing about Miami.
That's true.
Miami kicked off against Alabama. That's a really hard team to judge somebody off of.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm torn on this one. I think
I'm gonna take Sparty. I'm gonna buy in on Sparty.
Okay.
I really hate to do it. I am too. I'm torn in my head on this one, but 6.5 is a lot when Miami hasn't really looked that good. And I might turn out to be completely wrong on this because Michigan State might just look like they're pretty good playing bad teams. But I don't necessarily think they win this game. I think they keep it close enough that 6.5 is a little much.
I think it's a clean sweep across the board here, boys. I'm also taking Michigan State. Watching Miami this past weekend play Appalachian State and just looking like absolute dog shit. Like this isn't Alabama, guys. Like I know there might have been some looking ahead to Michigan State.
Right.
I get that, but it's become all too commonplace for this team to not be ready to play.
Right.
And I know we're kind of like, is Michigan State for real? I think that defense is for real. And
I think that run game is for real.
And Miami cannot stop the run. They can't. Yeah. Their defensive line is horrendous. Their linebackers are too small. And Miami's offensive line it's a sieve. It's horrendous. Yeah. It's bad. Give me Michigan State. And honestly,
you think they're going to win the game, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say you're taking them outright.
I'm taking them outright to win.
Just from the way you're talking.
100%.
I can tell that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And if that happens, many DS should be fired immediately after the game.
And if that happens, many alcoholic beverages will be consumed by you.
Yes, that will happen.
And I think that's going to happen either way, but still.
In that situation, though, we might not have to worry about Lady Friend catching him from the airport because he may just miss his flight.
He may just get detained.
Or even worse, yes.
I may miss the flight because the Bills are playing the Dolphins the next day.
Oh.
In Miami.
Yeah.
Why are you coming home?
Are you going?
Long story, but
are you going to try to go to that game too?
There's talk. That may or may not happen. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, in that case, you won't be coming home on Sunday.
Right. Moving on. Florida Gators, Alabama, Crimson Tide. Florida is getting 15.5.
All right. Go ahead, Frank.
Give me Bama.
You're taking Bama?
Yep.
15.5?
Yep.
I got it at 14.5 here, but 15. We'll go with 15.5.
How about we split in the middle? Call 15. Can we do that?
Well, it's either way. 15.5. 15.5.
Yeah.
Does the extra point make you change your mind?
No, I'm actually taking Florida.
Okay.
With the points.
Yeah, I think I might roll with Florida as well.
And I think it's a neutral site game. I believe.
I'm actually looking that up right now.
I believe it is a neutral site game.
It's in Gainesville, Florida.
Oh no, it's at the Swamp. So it's, yeah. So it's at Florida.
Yeah. And last year the previous matchup was 52-46. I don't see that that Bama beats them by more than 2 touchdowns. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Florida with that.
I agree with you. I'm rolling with Florida.
All right.
15.5 points for me for a Florida team that looks pretty good is too much.
Next is Arizona State versus BYU. BYU's laying 3.5. Or no, they're getting 3.5. Sorry.
Arizona State's getting 3.5.
No, they're laying 3.5.
Oh, they're laying 3.5.
Yeah.
Give me Arizona State.
I was gonna say this one for me is a coin flip. I'll take BYU just to be different.
Give me the Fighting Mormons getting the 3.5.
Wowzers.
Yes. because I believe it is in Provo. Next is Northern Illinois versus the University of Michigan. And this one's going to be a little different. We're doing the over at 54.5.
Well, we're not picking the game in this one?
Michigan's going to win that game. Let's be real here. And the spread was nuts.
Yeah, it is. It's 27.
So I figured let's do something a little more interesting with this game and pick the over-under at 54.5.
You said it was over at 54.5.
Yep. I'm going to take the over.
Well, I will too, because basically this is saying that Michigan's supposed to win by 27 points.
Yep.
Which, if you're looking at Vegas, that means if it was only going to be 27 points scored, it'd be 27-0. Which I don't see Northern Illinois not scoring any points.
Yep.
The implied over would hit here.
Yep.
I'm going to go over.
Yep.
I'm going with the under.
Woo! Just to be different?
Yeah.
All right. I dig
Actually, no, in all honesty, from watching Michigan on Saturday, I first question how they gave up 10 points to that offense, because that offense was fucking horrible.
Right.
But if you're giving up 10 points to that offense, I got no reason to believe that NIU can't put up a couple. And then on the flip side, look at what they did against Washington's defense, and they ran the shit out of it, but
Yeah.
the question mark of can they throw the ball. So
I think
I'm just going to look at what I think I saw on Saturday.
I think this is a game that you have to find out if you can actually throw the ball.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm making my pick off.
Fair enough.
You at least have to try some play action passes in this game. Even if your run game is working, you have to try some play action and at least see what you can get out of them.
No, I agree with this. 100%.
You both went over?
Yep.
Yeah. So did Andrew.
Oh, I know.
you gotta pull
I'm
up.
keeping
Okay.
tabs of his as well.
And the Thursday night game, NFL game, the New York Football Giants versus the Washington Football Team. The Washington is laying 3.5.
The Fitzmagicless
Yes.
Washington Football Team, which
Yes.
both of our shots on them of making it into the playoffs and making it to the Super Bowl possibly and being an outside chance.
You don't believe in Tyler Heineken?
No.
Fair enough.
No. With Fitzmagic, him going down,
Yeah.
down went their big playoff
Yeah,
hopes.
it's tough. That defense is good, but yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think you can overcome that.
Yeah.
With a good defense will not overcome starting Tyler Heineken. So
I mean, a great defense can overcome starting Trent Dilfer, but it's a good defense. Yeah.
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 But man, this one's tough. Washington's given up 3.5. You said?
Yeah.
Okay. The Giants do not look very good.
You want to talk about a dumpster fire?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They do not look very good. Saquon Barkley is still not fully recovered from that injury last year.
Nope.
He's on a pitch count, and he's on the practice report as being limited.
I think it's going to be like that the entire year.
Yeah. Which they didn't even practice, honestly, but it was just estimated that he would be limited.
Right.
Which I'm gonna still go with Washington in this game.
I am as well.
3.5 might sound stupid to a team that just lost their starting quarterback, but
Yep.
I still think Heineke can do enough to win this game, and the Giants are literally a back alley abortion.
Yeah,
of a team.
that
They're awful.
watching
I
that
was
game.
going to say, even with that 3.5, I'm going to buy that spread up a little bit. I'm going to go for a full 7. And I'm still taking Washington.
Wow.
Woo! Look at you, buddy. High roller.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd buy it up to 6.5. Don't take the 7.
Okay.
6.5. That way a touchdown does win it for you.
Yep.
Just a little betting advice.
Makes sense.
I'm self-admitted. I don't know my shit when it comes to gambling. I appreciate that. Because
Yeah,
I
'cause
just bought it at 7 and then
'cause
been
it-
like, yeah, I got the touchdown.
Yeah.
Fuck, I pushed.
Yeah. Yeah. Push doesn't do you any good. So buy
Nope.
it up to 6.5, and if it's a full touchdown, you win. So
I dig it. Yeah. I think it's all three of us for Washington across the board.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. I dig it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping track of our picks. I know you have.
Frank
I need,
has.
I need to put those on the website.
Speaking
still.
of that, how did everybody do last week?
You want just last week's numbers? Chris, well,
Yeah.
obviously you know how you did. That's why you're asking.
You're right.
Chris went 4-1. Joe, myself, and Andrew all went 3-2.
Suck it, losers.
Hey, week before, all three of us went 1-4.
Yeah, we sucked last week one.
He went 4-1. So
You're a loser.
Yeah. I'm not starting off the year very well. I'm very disappointed in myself.
I've stated in the past, like, I'm garbage when it comes to picking.
Well, I self-admit that I'm worse at it with college.
Yeah.
I don't follow it enough.
Yeah,
like
the
I follow
NFL
it,
is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, the NFL is
100%.
definitely my wheelhouse.
Yes.
I also literally work every single Saturday, so
Fair. Like
other than when I take a day off, I don't even get to watch college football.
Like I'm not great with the college. I'm not even mediocre at it, but I know it enough.
You're much more schooled
Yes.
in college football than
Yes.
than myself.
Like because we've talked about it numerous times. You're more an NFL guy. I'm more
Very
of a
much.
college guy. So
But
all
we
good.
both enjoy this time of year
yes, we do
because they're both around at the
100%.
same time.
100%. Yeah.
So, anything else you boys want to get into? We do have a cameo shit show this week.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
I literally just
you
put
literally found it just like,
right
do it.
before the show
Yeah.
started, so I don't even know what it is. But you want me to go into that?
Do it.
All right, cameo shit show.
Tom Walker, Ron White here. How are you? I just woke up and realized I'm about to miss a bunch of these things. So you get the special attention. Your buddy, Chris Belling, I guess is how that's pronounced, sent me a text just whining about you.
What?
Says you beat him at poker. You're more handsome than he is. Better at golf, and he's hard to be friends with because you got that superiority complex, and that's because you're hanging out with a loser like Chris, who you can beat at anything. I say get some more competitive friends, somebody around your skill level at all things, and just dump Chris. That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Wow.
I really wish I could see the rest of his shirt because the top of the marquee says "Say no to drugs," and then right underneath it says "Say yes to," but I can't catch whatever that last
I
word.
guarantee it's Scotch
It's got to be.
It has to be. Yeah, 100%.
because that man loves Scotch.
Yeah, he does.
He's definitely loaded in that video as well.
Oh, he said he just woke up and he looked like he had just.
Probably,
woke-
he's probably
So he's
hungover.
still drunk from
Yeah.
the night
Oh, yeah.
before.
Oh,
He's
100%.
He's probably he got a hangover.
Do you
That's-
you remember when that comedy tour was like the biggest
Oh,
thing
yeah.
in America?
I could
Oh,
still
yeah.
watch that. Like,
I
I
look
love
at-
those guys.
Like looking back on it, I'm like, God, did that suck?
See, I'm a fan of his comedy. Now
I
that
didn't
was
think
that
it-
was
like
that
looking
was bad.
back on it. I'm like, how did I get wrapped up in that?
I'm a fan of him more than I am some of the other guys.
That's fair.
He like Larry the Cable Guy.
How did
I
that
was-
guy- how did
I
that
was
dude get
ne-
famous? I'm sorry.
I was never a fan of Larry the Cable Guy, even when he coached the Browns. I didn't like him. Like I just wasn't a fucking fan, man.
Right.
The other two, Bill Engvall and Jeff Foxworthy. Foxworthy's kind of funny, but Engvall, take or leave. He's on a show that I watch every once in a while.
Right.
But actually, Ron White was my favorite one, and I actually still have seen some of his comedy tours since then, or some of the comedy shows. He's really fucking funny. I enjoy that guy.
Okay.
I really do. He's one of the only ones I actually truly enjoy.
Like when you see like the comedy tours like that one, and then you put together the original Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
That one was
There's no competition.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Blue Collar Boys, but there is
Dude.
no competition when
That
it comes to
was-
the original Kings of Comedy.
holy shit.
Anything that Bernie Mac was in
yeah.
is
I mean,
instantly better
that
because
was,
of him.
That blew the trailer tractor farmers whatever that was called, whatever the fucking tour was called.
I don't really remember what it was called. The Blue Collar Comedy Tour?
The Blue Collar?
Blue Collar Comedy. Man, make fun of you one time, and
I
I
know,
can't
it's
speak
shit,
the whole
man.
show. The Blue Collar Comedy Tour, as I think what it was called.
Yes, I believe.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't know if we saw this, but Andrew said he takes the Giants in a close game, take the points.
So he's taking Danny Dimes, huh?
He is taking Danny Dimes.
I mean, which yard line is he going to trip over this week?
I'm questioning my friendship with him right now over the fact he just took Danny Dimes, but
All right.
Yeah. Oof.
That dude,
They might be calling him Danny Dimes because all he can put up as a quarterback is 10 points for his team.
like
That's it.
seriously. Yeah,
some weeks that's even generous. Like, I would really enjoy. No, that's a lie. I wouldn't enjoy it whatsoever, but I would like to sit there and watch a game between New York and Jacksonville
No, you wouldn't. No, you stop that. No, you wouldn't.
just to see
No,
how
no.
fucking
Stop
bad
it.
that football would be.
Stop it.
You
That's-
shut your mouth.
That's why I said no. I would not enjoy it, but I would like to sit there and watch it just to see how bad.
So you would somewhat enjoy it because you would like to sit there and watch it.
No, the Jacksonville part would be painful, but watching Danny Dimes just suck ass, yeah, I would enjoy the hell out of that. He's fucking terrible.
Fair enough. Like, that's not, no. I don't know.
And
no.
the Jacksonville thing almost would make me happy now that you say it. Like, just because I keep saying how bad they're going to be.
Speaking of Jacksonville, and I'm glad we got back to this because I wanted to bring the show up. I wanted to bring this up earlier in the show.
Did you know Jacksonville had a college?
I did. I
Found that out
did.
this week
I
when they
did. I
beat
didn't know. I knew it was
piss
Jacksonville
out of Florida
but,
State.
Oh, dude, how awesome is that? Saying this as a Miami fan was glorious.
It's great if your team didn't just barely get by Florida State last week.
But I'm glad we got back to the Jaguars for a second. So, which week does Urban fake health issues and go to USC? Because USC just fired their coach.
I actually just saw earlier that it's pretty much being given to Eric Bellamy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If he wants it, it's his.
No shit.
Yeah. Wow. Now, will he take it? I don't know.
I don't see how you don't take that job. That's one of the best jobs.
If I'm Urban Meyer right now and somebody calls me from USC, I run.
Oh, 100%.
Run the other fucking way.
Absolutely. 100%. Oh, you run the other way? You don't go to USC?
No, I literally from Jacksonville run the other way.
All right. Yeah, 100%. Because that's one of the prestigious jobs in college football.
On top of the fact that what you're looking at right now with Jacksonville is calling it a dumpster fire is putting it nicely.
The NFL is, dude, it's above your head, man. Like, you're out of your depth in this. I know you wanted to try it. I get it. But nah, man.
You wanted to prove that you were better than Nick Saban.
And you're not. You're not.
You're no different than him. You just couldn't coach as well in college.
Right. So, yeah, I was, as soon as I saw that USC fired their head coach, I'm like, what week does Herb just say, nah, I can't handle this. Like, my health is... Yeah.
If we're talking my opinion and what I wish would have happened, I wish he would have taken that job on Saturday and never fucking coached on Sunday.
Fair enough. I don't think it matters because that roster is just... that team might go 0-17.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
I think they're a worse team having Urban Meyer.
Like, seriously, getting trucked by the Texans, who we thought were going to be the worst team in football? Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
But... No, I wanted to get that in before because I wanted to bring it up earlier in the show and we kind of got sidetracked. But I'm glad I got a chance.
No, the way he coached week 7.
It's actually funny. Dan and I were having a conversation in text messages about this, and he said it before I even told him what you said. He said Urban Meyer won't even make it the entire year, or he'll be gone before the season's over with.
We've been saying,
and I said Chris literally said that. That's literally what he said.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah, so he's fully on board with what you say on that one.
I can absolutely see that happening, especially given this new circumstance. Absolutely,
Right.
and that was before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. Anything else we want to get to, boys?
Nope.
That's it for me.
All right. Don't forget to tune in to our Sunday Sports on Tap game day. Check it out Sunday mornings at 10:30. This Sunday morning, I might be by myself, and I might not. I might have Lady Friend. I might have Dan. I might have nobody.
But the one thing you will have is a Bloody Mary.
Is a Bloody Mary. I will absolutely
yes,
have a Bloody Mary.
Yes.
So
and possibly Noonan.
And possibly Noonan.
It might be me and a Bloody Mary, or it might be me and a Bloody Mary and your crazy dog.
Yeah.
It might be me and a Bloody Mary, your crazy dog, and your crazy lady friend. I don't know.
I didn't say that.
We're rolling the.
You said she talked a lot, and you called her crazy.
Well, I just said crazy because I said crazy dog and crazy. I just said that. I don't think you're crazy, lady friend. Sorry.
Now you're just backpedaling the fuck out of your statement.
He's doing the fucking moonwalk right now, baby.
Hey, when you step in shit, sometimes you gotta back out of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, check us out. Sports on Tap game day every Sunday at 10:30.
Yep.
Check us out this Sunday and every Sunday. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. As always, check out our website, sotdet.com. While you're there, take a look at our show picks, our blogs, fantasy rankings, starts and sits, Dan's bets that he's going to put up there that we're going to put up there that he gives me.
Oh, we got to do that, yeah.
Yeah, I threw him up this last week, so
Sweet.
I'm gonna throw him up again this week.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, appreciate it, Dan, and hopefully you can help people win some money on our website. So,
Word.
Again, that's sotdet.com. Thank you to everyone for listening and or watching. On behalf of Chris and Frank, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No. Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
Hey, you
our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I've ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.